Okay, so I'm continuing the garden tour, and I hope you can hear me over my obnoxious neighbors who love to ride their four-wheelers. Again, we'll see what happens with the vanilla strawberry here. But anyway, the salvias have kind of come on. This is I think Rockin' Black and Blue. This is not a Rockin' salvia, but whatever it was, I got it from Burpee. And the ones I had last year did great, and they really struggled this year. This is just now kind of started coming into its own, and I think it's a combination of more shade now this time of year here, and the Miracle-Gro, which originally I thought it was getting too much shade, and that was a problem, but I think now I just didn't get good quality plants from them. So I love this salvia, and the hummingbirds love it too, but I don't know if I will try and get it from Burpee again, although it's very hard to find. So anyway, again, I'll try to talk louder. We've just recently repositioned some things because this was just getting way too crowded and too busy. As you can see, I have some more of the pretty little purple flower blooming. There's a big pot of coleus. That's also red-headed coleus blooming, and it's got some other coleus and fuchsia in with it. I'll try to get around to the other side of that in a minute. The pink cascade butterfly bush. This has definitely come on from last year. And then my pink Gara. It had been struggling a while. I think I may have put too much granular fertilizer on it earlier in the summer, but it's recovered. This is my other double play doozy, and it does bloom, but just not very long. So hummingbirds. I don't know if my expectations were too high for this, but I'd seen other people grow this, and it just seemed to maybe be more of a bloomer. I don't know, but it's also its first year. This was the one I got at Home Depot, and it was cheaper than the ones I got from another source, and it's been a much better plant. So anyway, we'll see. I'm definitely going to give it another year or two and see how it does. But this is definitely a better specimen than the other two. But maybe if I move the other two, maybe they'll be happier. All right. This is continuing to grow. This was a conifer I got last year. It was $2.90. It's really exploded this summer. I do finally have a new pump for my fountain. And you can see it is gurgling away. And I'm sure you can hear from the noise why I absolutely despise my neighbors. They have 11 acres. It was a horse farm, and now there are no horses and just four-wheelers all the time. Ridiculous, right? But anyway, everything else is doing good here. My Dragon's Breath coleus has exploded again. Miracle-Gro to the rescue. You can see my whirling pink Gara here. It is filled back in, but I have lost some stalks. And we had a pretty bad storm a week, 10 days ago. And so I had to get those off. This is a baby blue eyes spruce, and it had been fine until about 2 weeks ago, and then it started dropping needles. And you can see here, where it's shed. We moved it here. Hopefully it's getting more sun here now, and we'll see if it's a little bit happier. This is not going to be its permanent home, but until I can decide for sure where I want it to go, that's where it's going to be. The shrubs are all looking good for the most part here. I do have one other mountain fire Pieris that I'm probably going to lose. I don't know what's wrong, but it's just struggling. Not this one, but another one. But everything is good here. I had to get a new water hose. I think maybe I'd gotten a new one the last time I made a video from Ace Hardware. My one from Home Depot, it broke in less than a year, so that was disappointing. My limelight hydrangea over there, that has done really well all summer. It struggled last year. It did not do anything. In fact, I was amazed that it came back. So, anyhow. Everything's looking good. This was my volunteer Dragon's Breath coleus. You can see it's actually more vigorous than, celosia, not coleus. Excuse me, celosia. is more vigorous than what I planted. So I don't know if it's going to bloom. I don't know. I'm going to leave it because these self-seeded, and hopefully this will be even more spectacular. I did have some grass that's supposed to turn frothy pink later in the fall, but and it's kind of persisting in spite of the coleus. But if I had to pick between the two, I mean, not coleus, celosia, I absolutely love dragon's breast celosia, and I will pick it every time. Some shrubs, they're doing nicely here. Another conifer. It's hard to see with the sunlight, but now it started its own leader. I've got another one in the side garden. I've got to get the leader trained up. This is a smooth hydrangea, Incredible Blush. It was really pretty. Kind of planted it late. This was like a gallon size, supposedly. I think it was really more a quart that had just gotten too big for the quart and put into a gallon container. Yeah, moving forward, I think if I can possibly find these local, then I will do that next year, but we'll see, because a lot of the varieties I want, nobody seems to sell them locally. Some Rockin' Pink coleus doing good here. These were my clearance coleus from Lowe's, and they have definitely filled in. The Autumn Fuchsia, which, again, this is the first year I've ever grown it. I should have put it either in something, a big planter where it could spill over, or better yet, a hanging basket so the hummingbirds could get to it, because I've not seen any hummingbirds, and it's a shame because it's very pretty. Yeah, we're doing good here. I'll show you the back side of this in a minute. This is Anna's Fuchsia, I think. I also got this from Select Seeds. It has been spectacular. I will say, though, it gets heat wilt very, very easily. It needs lots of water. And again, it's not even been that hot the last 2 days, and I've had to water it like crazy. But it is gorgeous. I've really not seen, though, many pollinators in it, but it's so pretty. I would do this again. It's very pretty. I like the color of the pink and the little blooms. I've got some Arctic Fire Fuchsia right here coming in. My Rockin' Pink. This kind of rebounded. Not all the way. I transplanted it out of a smaller planter. This one, I should have never put it in the small planter like I did that one. I will not make that mistake next year. But it's recovered pretty nicely. Royal Raspberry Hummingbird Mint. I get this from Bluestone Perennials. I highly recommend it. It is a rock star hummingbird mint. This is a first year Pink Cascade, also from Bluestone, doing well. We've got some varieties of hummingbird mint. I don't remember what they were because this is the first year I've grown some of them, so I did save the tag, so I'll make notes come fall. I think Blue Blazes Hummingbird Mint from Bluestone. This is the second year I've grown it. It's kind of more delicate looking than the Blue Fortune, but it's very pretty. Especially kind of, mixed in with these pinks. And again, I don't feel like my camera's picking up how pretty this looks, but anyway. This is the Mountain Fire Pieris that I think is gone. I've kept cutting back the dead, and it doesn't matter. I don't know. I think when it rains, it's getting too much water. So again, I might try to do an oak leaf hydrangea here instead next year. But everything else is good. This was like all Blue Fortune and Queen Nectarine, and then there's this sport of Queen Nectarine that comes on later in the summer. It's been nice. You can see this Rose of Sharon. I've had it for a couple of years. Just a lot of times, even though it gets a lot of sun, the blooms just never open on this. So I may be shovel pruning the Rose of Sharon, and that will make more room for the Hummingbird Mint, because I honestly do not see many pollinators on the Rose of Sharon. All right, some more Mexican sage. I wish it was not an annual here. I ordered this from a nursery in Texas. I desperately need to stake it before we have another storm, because if we get one, it's going to take out these huge stalks. The Vermilion Cufia, I am not a fan of this. I know other people, like all the gardening channels, rave about it. The only reason I would consider doing it again is because I do see the hummingbirds in it. They do like it. But I don't think it's an attractive plant at all. It also gets heat wilt very easily. So, I don't know. I have mixed feelings, but it has exploded since I've been doing Miracle-Gro every like 7 to 10 days. Some more. This was late planting. This whole actually bed, I had a bunch of stuff I took out and moved. Oh, sweet Jesus. It's, I don't know, early summer, because stuff was not thriving here, and I still don't know why, because it was getting plenty of sun, but for whatever reason, the stuff that was here did not like it here. So this has definitely been an unexpected success. A lot of the Rebeckias have kind of petered out now, but this Gina, I think you said Gina Phlox, and my Blue Boa hummingbird mint have been spectacular. The Blue Boa has just now started flopping, so next year I need to make sure I stake it a little bit better. And maybe the Phlox too, but for sure the swallowtails have been all over this. They love this Gina. And it's such a pretty color. It looked really good just even 2 weeks ago against kind of petering out. And the Blue Fortune looked pretty spectacular too again. It's kind of, getting near the end of that bloom cycle. But it's been very vigorous. Again, this was my first pink cascade from Bluestone. This thing is massive. It was struggling the first part of the summer, and now it seems happy. Again, Miracle-Gro and extra water, which is contrary to what everybody says, but here in Georgia, in a container, it needs it. I forget what variety of butterfly bush this is, but again, the pollinators love it. I do have to deadhead this one a lot. I just deadheaded it a few days ago, and it's already needing it again. All right, so we have a little green friend here. Hello. So the last time you saw this was massive. Again, the storm that I mentioned, we had 2 storms actually pretty close together. The first one took out, kind of decapitated my Ruby Dazzle coleus, which was very red up until the last 2 weeks. I guess like now it's getting more sun, and that's why we're seeing the green. But this was for sure stunning up until about 2 or 3 weeks ago, like dark red. So I was actually able to root and save a stalk that got off. So I'll be interested to see what this does the rest of the summer. It's like cascading over, which is fine. But then we had another storm, and again, because this Color Blaze Velveteen was so tall, I mean, it was massive. It was actually as tall as this, and it looked great. But it had started to get, again, it was super bushy. I'd kept it pinched back, and it had started to get leggy just a little bit before that storm came, and that like finished it off, and I just had to come in and cut it back. So it's filling back in. I'm going to be kind of interested to see what it does. But you can see it's coming back a lot more green this time. So this looked incredible most of the summer, so I have no complaints. But I don't know that I will do this again here. If you'd asked me that 6 or 8 weeks ago, I would have said for sure I will repeat this again, but I'm not sure now. So I have to think about it. The good thing is this kind of getting cut back has opened up a little bit more for these beauties. One other thing that we're going to be doing in the fall is moving all of these perennials. They got overtaken by the coleus, and they've just now kind of started to grow. But I want to do something different. This has turned into kind of like a butterfly garden, so I definitely want to do probably more plantings of things I already have to encourage the pollinators. So we'll be moving these in the fall, and hopefully they will survive and do well in the spring. So I have some thoughts about what I want to do here, but I'll share more about that later. This is Rosy Posy hummingbird mint. I cut it back. It's coming back nicely. I don't know that the second flush, I don't think it'll be as vigorous, but we'll see. This is the regular Suncredible, and it actually looked fantastic thanks to Miracle-Gro until about 2 days ago, and all of a sudden this golden, it's a rockin' version of salvia, but it's basically like pineapple salvia, and I didn't realize that when I ordered it, and all of a sudden this has exploded and it's starting to overtake this garden. So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to just pull it out or give it a chance to bloom and see what it does. I think by the time it blooms, though, the hummingbirds are going to be gone. So I may just yank it out to preserve my Suncredible flowers, because I really don't want to lose this last batch. And again, they had looked really good until like 2 days ago, and all of a sudden this stuff is just like gone berserk. My little lime punch hydrangea is looking good. This is the back side. This is another type of Rudbeckia, I think. I can't remember, but it looks like it's going to bloom soon. So we'll see if we get a fall show on this side of the garden. And hopefully, again, I don't feel like my camera does a good job picking up just how pretty the Blue Fortune and the Gina Phlox does. But I've grown, not Blue Fortune, excuse me, Blue Boa. I've grown Blue Boa several years now, and I love it. But this is the first year I've grown this Gina Phlox. So I want to do more of this because, again, the butterflies love it. Some type of grasses I got here. They're looking kind of interesting. And then this is some more, I think it's Blue Blaze. Hummingbird Man. I get it from Bluestone. And it's looked good all year, but traditionally this has looked better the second half. I think it likes a little bit of cooler weather. My Rudbeckia from Lowe's last year, it has bloomed its heart out, but it's about done. I've got a little bit of rebloom on Blue Fortune, and then I have some type of lilac butterfly bush I got at Lowe's last year, as well as a Pugster lilac, and they've just kind of merged. The one from Lowe's has actually been much more vigorous for me, and again, the butterflies have loved it, all of this. They stay over here. And I don't know if you can see the swallowtail. Sorry for the zoom. But again, this is now getting a lot more afternoon sun at a later time, but it's getting it for, I think, more extended period. So I'll be interested to see, kind of how this evolves into fall. Obviously, this has like gotten way out of control over here. I did not do a good job planning. It's a little bit tricky coming in and out of the garden, but again, I'm not complaining. I don't mind. The Queen Nectarine, I really expected was going to be doing well. I feel like Queen Nectarine, I have a love-hate relationship with. Sometimes it performs really well, sometimes it doesn't. Again, the storm really hit this bed hard a week, 10 days ago. All this was laying down, and I did have to cut some of it back. This Blue Fortune is petering out, but the bees and the swallowtails love it so much I cannot bring myself to cut it back, and it's not going to rebloom if I cut it back this late now. So I'm just going to leave it for the hello for the swallowtails and let them enjoy it until there's nothing left to enjoy. Overall, I've been happy. This has been I planted this later, but I was not expecting this to become such a butterfly magnet. So, I'm probably going to do, Blue Fortune is my easiest thing to grow, but I'm probably going to do more of it. I have grown it over there, the bed I said I was going to be moving some things, and I didn't know if I would repeat the coleus there, even though I liked it for most of the summer, just because this really has kind of become butterfly central. I see them in other parts of the garden too, but this is where they're at most of the time, and it's in front of my screen porch, so, when it's not 1,000 degrees, I do like to sit on my porch and watch them and the hummingbirds. So, all right, well, I see I've rambled on, and as usual, I'm going to make this into 3 videos. So let me stop part 2, and I would be thrilled if you will stay with me for the last and final part 3.